Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English podcast.
How to speak English alone. Learn English through podcast.
Learning how to speak English alone may sound strange to some people, but if you are a young learner who truly wants to improve, you must realize that speaking English is not only possible when you have a teacher, classmates, or friends to practice with, it is also possible when you are by yourself. Because the truth is, language learning is not only about communication with others, it is also about training your brain, your mouth, your tongue, and your ears to get used to English sounds, rhythm, and structure. And this training can happen anytime, anywhere, even when you're completely alone. And in fact, some of the most successful English speakers in the world practiced mostly by themselves before they had a chance to use English with other people. And I want you to understand this clearly. Speaking alone is not a weakness. It is not something to feel embarrassed about. It is actually one of the smartest strategies for young people who want to take control of their learning because it gives you freedom, confidence, and unlimited practice time. And let me ask you this. How many hours a day can you realistically spend talking to a teacher or a native speaker? Maybe 1 hour, maybe less. But how many hours can you spend with yourself? The answer is unlimited. And this is why practicing English alone is such a powerful secret weapon, because you can do it in the morning, on your way to school, while walking, while cooking, before going to sleep, and every one of these moments can become a chance to train your speaking. And if you do this consistently, day after day, month after month, you will be shocked at how much more fluent and confident you become. When you decide to practice speaking English alone, the first technique is to talk to yourself out loud. And even though it may feel funny at the beginning, it is one of the most effective methods because it forces you to use the words you already know. It trains your tongue to produce English sounds, and it helps you overcome the fear of speaking. So imagine you are narrating your life like a story. When you wake up, you can say in English, I am brushing my teeth. I am getting dressed. I am going to eat breakfast. And when you are walking to school, you can describe what you see. I see cars. I see children. The sky is beautiful today. And by doing this, you are creating an English environment in your own mind. And the more you describe, the more comfortable you become. And soon, your brain will start switching automatically to English when you think. And that is the goal, because when your thoughts are in English, your speaking becomes natural and you stop translating from your native language. Another powerful way to speak English alone is through shadowing, which means listening to an English speaker, whether it is from a movie, a YouTube video, or a podcast, and repeating what they say at the same time, trying to copy their pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. And this method is extremely effective because it trains your mouth to move like a native speaker's mouth. And at first, it will feel difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And soon, your pronunciation will improve without you even realizing it. And think about it like singing along to your favorite song. At first, you don't know the lyrics, but after repeating many times, you start singing without looking. And shadowing works the same way. It makes English sounds part of your memory, and you become faster, smoother, and more confident. Recording yourself is another excellent technique because when you speak English alone and record it on your phone, you can listen to yourself after and notice mistakes, hesitation, or pronunciation problems. And this is so powerful because many learners do not realize how they sound until they listen. And sometimes you may think your pronunciation is correct, but when you listen back, you realize where you need to improve. And by comparing your voice to native speakers, you can slowly correct yourself. And if you do this every day, recording even 1 or 2 minutes and listening back, you will notice clear improvement in just a few months. because every day you will sound a little more natural, a little more confident, and this will build your self-esteem to use English with others later. Talking to the mirror is also a surprisingly effective way to practice speaking alone, because when you look into the mirror while speaking English, you simulate a real conversation, and you can watch your mouth, your lips, and your body language. And this helps you build confidence because it feels like you are speaking to someone else. And it also trains you to keep eye contact, to use facial expressions, and to practice natural pauses. And even though it is only you in the mirror, it feels more alive. And many great speakers and leaders have trained themselves this way. So never underestimate the mirror method because it can transform your confidence and fluency. Another creative method to practice speaking alone is role-playing different situations in English. For example, you can imagine you are in a restaurant and you order food in English. You can imagine you are traveling at an airport and speaking to an officer. You can imagine you are giving a speech to a big audience, or even imagine you are being interviewed for a job. And when you practice these situations alone, you prepare yourself for real life. So when the time comes, you are ready because you already practiced the words and sentences before. And this makes you less nervous and more confident. And this is exactly how athletes train. They imagine the game before playing. And when they enter the field, they feel prepared. And the same principle works for speaking English alone. If you want to go even deeper, you can also use technology to support your solo speaking practice, because there are apps and websites that allow you to speak and get instant feedback. For example, speech recognition tools can check your pronunciation, and AI tools like ChatGPT can chat with you in English 24 hours a day, correcting your grammar and suggesting better phrases. And this is like having a personal tutor anytime you want. But the difference is that you don't need to feel shy because it's just you and the AI. And this creates a safe space to practice as much as you want. And this combination of speaking alone plus using technology will accelerate your progress. Now, one of the most important things when practicing English alone is to create a daily routine. Because if you only do it sometimes, you will not see results. But if you make it part of your lifestyle, you will improve steadily. So you can start small, maybe 10 minutes a day of speaking alone, then increase to 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, and soon it will become natural, like brushing your teeth or eating. And the secret of language learning is not about one big effort. It is about small, consistent steps every single day. And technology can help you stay on track. You can use reminders, set goals, or even record your daily practice as a diary. And when you look back after a few months, you will see how much progress you have made, and this will motivate you to continue. As you continue practicing English alone, it is essential to realize that the mind is your greatest tool, and the imagination is your most powerful ally. Because speaking English alone is not just about repeating words. It's about creating mental scenarios, engaging your memory, and forcing your brain to form connections between ideas, vocabulary, and grammar structures. And this means that every time you speak to yourself, narrate your day, or role-play situations, your brain is actually rewiring itself to make English your natural language. And the more you immerse yourself in this process, the more your subconscious begins to recognize patterns, predict words, and construct sentences quickly, so that eventually, when you face real-life conversations, your mind automatically retrieves the right phrases without hesitation. And this is exactly how fluency develops, not overnight, but gradually through repetition, practice, and the smart use of techniques that allow you to simulate real communication even when you are alone. And one of the most effective ways to do this is to combine speaking aloud with writing simultaneously. Because when you write a sentence in English and then read it out loud, you engage multiple parts of your brain at once: your visual memory, your language center, and your speech muscles. And this strengthens your ability to produce sentences naturally, as well as your confidence. And confidence is crucial because many young learners stop themselves from speaking English due to fear of making mistakes or sounding foolish. But when you practice alone, there is no judgment, no embarrassment, and you are free to experiment with words, intonation, and pronunciation until it feels comfortable. And this freedom is priceless because without it, learning becomes slow, stressful, and frustrating. But with it, learning becomes an adventure, a game, and a personal challenge that grows your skills and self-belief simultaneously.
Another extremely effective method for speaking English alone is to incorporate daily self-dialogues and monologues, where you pretend to have conversations with someone, even if it is only in your mind. And these dialogues can be as simple as asking yourself questions and answering them. For example, what did I do today? How do I feel? What do I want to achieve tomorrow? And then responding in English. Or you can create imaginary conversations with famous people, your favorite characters, or even future colleagues. And by practicing these dialogues regularly, your brain starts thinking in English automatically. And the hesitation that often comes from translating from your native language diminishes. And you also improve your ability to express opinions, ask questions, and respond appropriately, which are the exact skills you will need when speaking with others. And the beauty of this technique is that you can make it as fun and creative as you want, because there are no limits. And the more you enjoy the practice, the more consistent you become, and the more effective your learning is, because the brain loves repetition when it is paired with motivation and enjoyment. And by making speaking English a part of your daily routine, even alone, you train your brain, your mouth, and your confidence at the same time. Using technology alongside solo practice makes a huge difference as well, because tools like AI chatbots, speech recognition apps, pronunciation checkers, and even virtual reality environments can simulate conversations, provide feedback, and correct mistakes instantly, which is exactly what you need when practicing alone. Because normally, when we practice by ourselves, we have no way of knowing if our pronunciation is correct or if we are using proper grammar. But with these tools, you have a virtual teacher who is patient, available anytime, and never judges. And this creates a safe, consistent, and highly effective learning environment. And some apps even gamify your progress, giving points for speaking daily, challenges to complete, and milestones to celebrate. And all of this turns solo practice into an engaging experience. And the more consistent you are, the faster you will improve. And this combination of imagination, self-dialogue, and technology is exactly what makes speaking English alone a highly productive method that can yield results faster than waiting to practice only with other people. Another strategy for young learners is to think in English constantly. And this is more than just speaking. It is a mindset, a habit, and a lifestyle. Because fluency is not just about memorizing words. It is about creating automatic thought patterns in English, so that when you face a conversation, your brain does not stop to translate, but instead your thoughts and words flow naturally. And you can practice this alone by narrating everything in English in your head before saying it aloud, by describing your surroundings, planning your day in English, imagining conversations, and even debating with yourself on topics you enjoy. And over time, these mental exercises make speaking alone feel easier and more natural, because your mind is already preparing sentences, phrases, and vocabulary before you open your mouth. And this mental preparation reduces anxiety, increases confidence, and strengthens your fluency. And the more creative you are in thinking and speaking alone, the richer your vocabulary becomes. because when you challenge yourself to describe more ideas and emotions in English, you are forced to learn new words, synonyms, idioms, and expressions. And the next time you speak in real life, these words are ready to use. Reading aloud is also one of the most overlooked techniques for solo practice, because when you read English books, articles, news, or even social media posts out loud, you are training pronunciation, intonation, rhythm, and clarity. And this practice works wonders for young learners because reading silently does not engage the speech muscles, but reading out loud does. And the more you read out loud, the smoother your speech becomes and the more confident you sound. And you can even record yourself while reading, play it back, and compare it to native speakers, which gives you immediate feedback. And combining reading aloud with shadowing, repeating after native speakers, multiplies the effectiveness because your ears, mouth, and brain are all learning together. And over time, this creates natural speech patterns, fluid sentences, and the ability to express ideas clearly and confidently. And vocabulary expansion is critical too. And speaking alone gives you an incredible advantage here, because every time you practice, you can pause, think, and find the right word in English without feeling rushed. And you can experiment with synonyms, descriptive words, and idiomatic expressions. And by practicing alone, you can also create your personal vocabulary bank using flashcards, apps, or digital notes. And then use these words in your monologues, dialogues, role plays, and self-dialogues. And over time, these words become part of your active vocabulary, ready to use instantly in real conversations. And the act of speaking them out loud alone reinforces memory and pronunciation far more than writing or memorizing silently. Another powerful method for speaking English alone is singing, because songs teach rhythm, pronunciation, and sentence structure. And singing along to English music, even when no one is watching, engages your brain, ears, and mouth simultaneously. And it's fun, enjoyable, and highly motivating. And young learners especially benefit from this because music naturally holds attention, creates memory hooks, and trains pronunciation without feeling like study. And when you sing regularly, your mouth becomes used to English sounds, your ears recognize natural speech patterns, and your overall fluency improves. And if you combine singing with shadowing, trying to imitate the singer exactly, your accent, rhythm, and intonation will improve faster than most conventional methods. Storytelling is another technique that works perfectly when practicing alone. Because when you create your own stories in English, describe characters, actions, events, and emotions, you are using grammar, vocabulary, and creative thinking all at once. And telling these stories out loud trains sentence construction, fluency, and expression. And the more you do it, the more natural English becomes in your mind and mouth. And over time, even complex sentences become easy to produce because your brain has practiced constructing them repeatedly. And when you are ready to share these stories with others, your confidence and fluency will already be high, and you will not struggle to find words because your solo practice has prepared you.